Hi, Yins. Happy Flossmas. It's day 19, and you have me right out of bed. Congratulations. No, really. So I'm just out of bed. I am sitting in my stitching spot. I have my coffee today. I have not had any coffee today. Today's cup is, or I should say mug. I always say cup, but it's mug. Today's mug is my Seattle aquarium from when I visited Seattle a few years ago. This is my Kraken or giant octopus cup. I absolutely love this cup. As I said yesterday, we are back to Folgers Classic Coffee. And I thought I would check in and see how things are going and do things a little bit different today. So I am sitting in my stitching spot. A lot of people have asked me what my Ott light looks like. That is my Ott light there. It is a floor stand light. It's very simple. It has different settings. You touch this button and it'll go from, right now I have it in my knitting setting because that's what I'm going to be knitting on. It's just like it raises and lowers. So I'm going to be doing some knitting because I have fallen down the knitting rabbit hole. I have fallen hard for knitting right now. I think I said about it yesterday because of the fact that I have some exciting projects and the other stuff is just not really calling to me right now. So today I am going to be working on a brand new start, and I'm only going to show you the colors right now. And I will talk about the actual design a little bit later whenever I do my full-fledged video. So this is my the colors that I'm using. These are yarns that I purchased from Nina's Hand Dyed on Etsy. And the blue is a fingering sock weight yarn, and the gray is I believe she calls it sport weight, but it's pretty much fingering. It's just not sock weight. It's not sock. So this is, I think I'll give you all the details later. So I am excited about this. I bought this early last year, or not last year, early 2020. I think I got it in 2020. And I have been waiting for these for a special project. And yesterday I found that special project. So I'm going to be knitting for a little bit, and then I'm going to knit on my sock that I got some more progress on last night. And we'll check back in with you a little later. You can hear my washing machine in the background. I'm actually washing, every week I wash my sheets, but today I was like, oh, let me go ahead and wash my mattress pad. So my question for you all today is, how often do you wash your mattress pad? How often do I need to wash my mattress pad? So answer that below, and I would greatly appreciate it and read all of your comments. I will check back in with you a little later. How's everyone doing? It's now about 4:30 at night. I already added my clip to the beginning of this video regarding what I talked about this morning. And now I've basically been crafting all day. And as you can see behind me, I've been catching up on my Flosstube, Flossmas Flosstube. And so you'll get to look at Caroline there for the next, I don't know, however long we talk. So it's been a very, very productive day for me.
This morning you saw me in, right out of bed. I basically stayed like that until about 2:30, 2 o'clock today because I was waiting for a UPS package. Yesterday I came home from work and I had one of those tags on my door saying, hey, we tried to deliver something and we couldn't deliver it because we have to have somebody that's 21 years of age or older at the home to accept it. So they said they'd be back today. So, of course, because of that, I didn't want to get a shower or anything right away because I didn't want to miss the UPS guy. So, or gal, it could have been a female. So, all day today, I've just been kind of like being lazy around the house, not really doing it. Well, I've been productive, just not getting cleaned up or anything because I didn't want to miss the UPS guy. I figured after the UPS person came and delivered my package, then I'd be able to get my shower. Well, the UPS guy came about 1:30 today. Knocked on my door. I grabbed my mask on, opened the door, and he's like, are you Gerald? He used my last name, and I said yes. And he's like, are you Ginger Gerald? And I was like, oh, yeah, I am. So this is the very first time that somebody randomly, not in a stitching store, because I have been approached in a stitching store, has asked me if I was Ginger Gerald. So Mr. UPS guy, and of course I was dumbstruck because I was kind of like baffled by that. I didn't really ask too many questions. So Mr. UPS guy, if you're watching this today, are you a stitcher? Do you stitch? So, or how did you find out about my channel? I would love to know if you'd be willing to put it in the comment section below. So that is my little story about the UPS guy and my delivery. I did get my delivery. It was a very nice gift basket from a church friend. So there we go. One other story I wanted to tell you real quick was my friend and I went to one of our favorite seafood restaurants in the area called Captain Cat. They are a family-owned local business, so a small establishment. Who I think they're doing okay during the COVID season, but it's limited seating inside and everything, and it's a friendly basis. I just tell them I want my usual, and they know exactly what to get me, so I don't ever have to worry about looking at the menu or ordering. And they were very nice enough to give us a free meal last night. So I wanted to thank them here. If any of you are from the area and know of Captain Cat. And it was very nice because, family-owned businesses are really struggling right now due to all of the restrictions. So the fact that people are willing to do that during the holiday season shows a great deal about the type of people and the robustness of the small business community. So I strongly suggest you support your local businesses. I also like to support the big chains. I like everything, but it is also, I think, important to hit up those local businesses, the small businesses, even in the cross stitch and knitting community. So there's my little spiel. And with that, let's just segue right into the fact that I am donating $1 of every pattern that I'm selling during this month to the Philadelphia Zoo. So if you go check out my channel, my store on Etsy, you can find all of my patterns that are available. I did feature a couple of my patterns, my best sellers, yesterday's video. So if you didn't check that out, go check out yesterday's video and you can see some of those patterns that are for sale. Okay. Now that we have done all the administrative business, let's get right on into what I've been doing. And do I have everything? Of course I don't have everything. I'll be right back. All right, now that I am more put together than I was before, let me show you what I've been working on. Now, I told you yesterday that I've fallen down the knitting hole. I'm probably going to be doing a lot more knitting than stitching throughout the rest of the year and month being the end of the year, but I did do some stitching today. But I do want to show you my knitting first because that's what typically I've been doing. So yesterday I showed you the beginning stitches on a pair of socks that I am doing. They are the super simple, no, not super, just simple summer socks. You can find this pattern for free on Ravelry by Liz Pankratz. So it's more of a lace knit sock. There's the model. I am using a lot, I'm using yarn that I have just laying around that is just enough to hopefully make an entire pair. And I am using for the toes and heels, I am using this, Hawthorne fingering sock yarn. I think it's Hawthorne from Knit Picks, and I don't know the color. I think it's Elliot, but I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain they don't sell this one anymore, which is very disappointing because that's one of my favorite yarns that they had. The toe and I'm not sorry, not the toe. I'm getting all tangled up here. That's why I'm like, what's going on? The toe and the foot and the leg, which there's just a cuff, there's not really much of a leg, is going to be in this amber. And again, I don't remember the dyer of this hand-dyed yarn. This was a gift to me from Caroline for my birthday one year, and I've had it laying around. I tried to do a color work sock with it, and that's where the majority of the yarn went to, and that didn't work very well. I struggle with color work socks because I can't get them over my heel, and I'm not a horribly tight knitter, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. But so here is the foot and the cuff, and here is what I have done so far. So I've done about I've done all the increases from the toe. It's a toe up sock, and I've started on the main section of the foot. I only did a really small section. I only did the Hawthorne up to work starts, so it's just a really tiny toe, even though there's still more increases after that. But here is my progress so far. So I'm really enjoying. I just want to make sure I don't drop any stitches as I show you this here, because I have this on a 9-inch circular. I started with the DPNs up until I got all of the increases done, and then I was able to do the 9-inch circular. So there is the pattern so far. So it's a nice looking, just it's almost like an eyelet stitch pattern. I really like it. I really like knitting it. It's nice and easy to remember. It's a 4-row repeat. So I think I've done three sets of repeats since I got all of the increases done. So there is, no, I've done 4 sets of repeats since I got the increases done. So there we go. The pattern calls for less stitches than I need for the person's foot that I'm knitting this for. So I just made more increases in the bottom half, or the bottom section, and just keeping the pattern section the same. And the stockinette stitch will just come up a little bit farther on the foot. But I think it will work out well, and then that way then I know what I'm doing as far as the pattern. So there we go. That is the sock that I started yesterday. I actually started it yesterday morning. Then last night, after I got home from dinner, I decided to pull out some yarn that I showed you this morning and start a new shawl. So this is a shawl that I think I'm going to do for myself because it will look, it's gender neutral enough that I think I would feel confident wearing, feel comfortable wearing. So this is the main color that I am doing. Both of these yarns are from Nina's Hand Dyed. You can find her on Etsy. I'll try to remember to link her below. I love her yarn. I made a sweater vest out of an alpaca wool blend last year that I wear occasionally. I haven't worn it yet this year. I need to pull that one out. I hope it fits. So this is a sock yarn of hers called Blue Fusion, and this was in one of a kind, so I doubt that you'll be able to find anything like this, or you might be able to find similar, but this was a one of a kind. I did buy 3 skeins. So here's the thing. I bought 3 skeins of each of these yarns thinking that, oh, I'll make a sweater vest like I did last year, or something with each one of these, never thinking that I would ever put them together. And then I found this pattern on Ravelry, And I was like, that is what I'm going to do for 2 of the skeins. So this is Blue Fusion in a 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And then this is my absolute favorite that she makes, this colorway. It is called Lost Key, and this is a everyday sport, so 100% superwash merino. So they're both superwash. They're both slightly different. She calls this a sport. It's practically the same thickness as the sock yarn, so I felt confident that it would be fine to put them together. So let me show you now the pattern that I am doing. This is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It's from Wolf and Fawn Knits, and it's the Pay It Forward shawl. So there, and I absolutely love these colors, but these are my always go-to colors, and I have these yarns in my stash, so I was like, I got to use up what I have. So this is the Pay It Forward shawl from Wolf and Fawn Knits on Ravelry. Let me see if I can show you another picture. Yeah, this isn't giving you away too much. There is what it looks like rolled out. So it's an asymmetrical triangular shaped shawl, almost like a scarf. And here is my progress so far. It's basic garter stitch with a couple rows of eyelets. Apparently I'm really into eyelets right now. So this is the back. That's the front. Here we go. This is my progress so far. And I'm absolutely loving it. This is a breeze to stitch, up. I love the way it's looking. The blue is showing a lot more bluer than, it's a little bit more green than what it's actually showing. See if by putting paper behind it, will that help? No, not really. It does have a hint more green than what is actually showing on the screen. But there is the pattern so far. There is a little bit of, oh, and I had the words I wanted to use. Creative license in this because I read the pattern wrong. So for some reason there was supposed to be another stripe right here, just like right here, just like there is underneath. And for some reason I read it wrong and I thought it was all in the contrasting color. So instead of having a second stripe right here, I just have a larger band of the contrasting color. It works for me. I had so much more of this blue done that I was like, there's no way I'm going to pull that all out. And it makes it unique to Ginger Gerald. So there is my shawl so far. First time I've ever done an asymmetrical shawl. So actually, yeah, first time I've ever done an asymmetrical shawl. I'm really enjoying it, and I learned something new with this pattern. I never knew how to do a yarn over at the beginning of a row. So I had to look it up on YouTube, and I learned how to do yarn over at the beginning of the row. Now I do it, and it's super quick and easy. So there you go. That is my shawl that I've been working on. I basically worked on this the majority of the day, worked on my sock a tiny bit, and then I did some knitting today. So after I was done knitting this morning, I went ahead and got onto the computer for a little bit, and I played my computer game for an hour or two. Again, I'm playing Anno 1800, A-N-N-O 1800, if you are a gamer yourself. And then after I was done playing the games, I went ahead and pulled out my stitching because I wanted to show you a little bit of stitching. So I am stitching up the railroad crossing signal in this book from 1983 called Railroading, Book 2. So this is what I'm working on. I got a good bit done today. And you wouldn't even think, because it's not really all that much stitching involved. So here is what it looks like now. So in today's stitching, I went ahead and put the words on the black box here. Because I'm doing it on yeah, 14 count 8. It calls for three strands of thread or floss on that back stitch, which was kind of annoying. And it kind of bothers me the way it looks, but from a distance it looks perfectly fine. So I'm sure there was a reason to do 3 instead of 2. The rest of the pattern pretty much calls for 2, or calls for 1. You backstitch the entire thing in 1 strand, and then you do the words on the X up here in 2 strands. So I am basically color completing as I go now. All of the black is done except for the back stitch. All of this lighter gray right here is now done. And all of these 2 colors of dark gray down here are completely done. All I have left to stitch are white and red. The red goes in here inside these like little lamps. And then of course the big pole that comes down over the road will have the white and the red. And then I'm done, other than back stitching. So I'm really looking forward to getting this wrapped up and maybe even done stitching by tomorrow. I'm not holding my breath. I don't have to have it done before the end of, or before next weekend. So as a fully finished project, and it won't take me long at all to finish. So there we go. That is my stitching for today. And I know I had mentioned that I was planning on doing finishing that bookmark this weekend. I might do that tomorrow, but most likely more likely than not, I probably won't do that finishing of that bookmark until I have the stitching on the crossing signal done, and then I'll finish them both together because I don't like finishing. I'd rather be stitching than finishing. So if I have 2 projects to finish at the same time, is better, because then I'll just knock them both out more efficiently than doing one now and then doing one later. And I still am not sure how I'm going to finish that bookmark yet. So that is still to be determined, which is another reason I'm putting it off, just because I haven't done the research in order to figure out how to finish that bookmark. So I need to figure that out. But I have now yammered on long enough today, so I hope you all have a wonderful half of your weekend left to go. Happy stitching, happy crafting, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Until I see you tomorrow, as always, don't forget to always be creative.